Alright. Today we are what? Gen Z's peptide epidemic by Cole Hastings. Now we hear him say.
On June 16th, 2025, The Guardian posted a YouTube video featuring fitness influencer Ryan Johnson, and what he revealed in his fridge might surprise you.
So right here in the middle drawer is where we have all the special supplements. Wow. Got a wide variety of them.
What you're looking at here are peptides, short chains of amino acids that send signals to cells in the body. These peptides are backed by claims that sound almost too good to be true. They can melt your fat, give you a blemish-free face, and even help you get it up in the bedroom.
That makes your skin tanner, but also increases sexual libido. That's
so what me think is, I mean, I know nothing. Peptide are like the steroids before steroids. Not before as in it come before steroids, but before as in them start use before them use steroids. You get what I say? Feel like them dabbling in some peptides, and then them say, maybe it's peptides there. Them already similar natural. So why not? Why am I not just go all the way and start use steroids? So I feel like the peptides are what them start use. Oh, actually, doctor say, I don't know if doctor say me just attack. Don't take that as law. Wrong button. Shit, and press it twice. Alright, we're gonna start about the video.
ET141 peptide.
Ryan is just one of thousands of influencers now promoting these often unregulated drugs to people in their late teens and early 20s. But just how realistic are these health benefits? Can they really come with little to no risk? And what does this say about the growing body image issue in the modern world? Contrary to the peptide craze we usually hear about now.
And did you know that the GLP-1, that the GLP, the P in a GLP stands for peptide? I gotta Google that cause no anything. Yo, what does the P in GLP stand for? Okay, we'll see if it's right. Let me go now. The P in GLP stands for peptide. I was right. Okay. We need to pay attention to the video, right? I'm pay attention. What's up?
First major therapeutic peptide began with one of the greatest medical breakthroughs in history, insulin. When researchers Frederick Banting and Charles Best isolated insulin in 1921, they transformed diabetes from a near-certain death sentence into a manageable disease. Insulin became the first peptide drug used in medicine in 1922 and was commercialized shortly afterward.
Oh, so the doctor, they do say if you take peptides, or them diagnosed peptides people use. I guess, yeah, because me just said the P in a GLP mean peptide, so why them wouldn't, me contradict myself.
1950s, scientists learned to synthesize peptide hormones such as oxytocin and vasopressin, opening the door to a much larger peptide drug industry. Advances in peptide synthesis and later recombinant DNA technology dramatically increased the number of peptides that...
the girl will play as Batwoman in a Zoe Kravitz. Not Batwoman, Catwoman. Why would I ever say Batwoman? Catwoman. Alright, stop button. Or Kravitz, or whatever she name. The first movie I saw with her was show. I think I remember if oxytocin it name, but she did at the start and she take that drug there in there. That are the first. That's the first. I think that are the first time me hear that Billie Eilish oxytocin song there. Oh my god.
That could be manufactured safely. Over the following decades, peptide-based drugs were approved for conditions ranging from growth hormone deficiencies and infertility to osteoporosis, HIV-associated complications, and metabolic disorders. By the early 2000s, peptides became a legitimate pharmaceutical industry.
No, you can't just keep past that. What was that?
Disorders.
Wait, now we need to see that.
Osteoporosis, HIV-associated complications, and metabolic disorders.
See it. Oh shit. That is Like, I'm barbadim this, like, no, no way. That's not nice. Like, even if you're ball, if you just start ball like from this, and you make your ear go. I don't know why I go another picture here, but it look rough. You know what I'm like.
By the early 2000s, peptides became a legitimate pharmaceutical industry, though they were still
Alright,
largely confined
actually, I listen to the video now, y'all. We pay attention. 1 minute and 50 seconds.
into hospitals and endocrinology clinics. Then, in 2005, a new peptide would get approved that would change the way we injected ourselves with stuff we don't understand forever. GLP-1. GLP-1, or glucagon-like peptide 1, is a hormone your body naturally releases after you eat. Produced primarily in the intestines, it acts as a messenger that tells the pancreas to release insulin, slows the rate at which food leaves the stomach, and signals to the brain that you've had enough to eat. The problem is that natural GLP-1 doesn't stick around for long. An enzyme called DPP-4 breaks it down within minutes, making it difficult to use as a practical medication. For years, researchers searched for a version that could survive long enough in the body to have meaningful effects. And the breakthrough came from a surprisingly unlikely place: the venom of a lizard. In the early 1990s, researchers discovered a peptide called Exendin-4 in the saliva of a Gila monster. Exendin-4 behaves similarly to human GLP-1, but was much more resistant to breakdown. Scientists realized they had stumbled upon a molecule that accomplished what natural GLP-1 could not: remain active in the body long enough to become a useful drug. That discovery...
what did they do? What did they do? Them start take out the lizard spit.
led to exenatide, marketed as Byetta, which became the first GLP-1 receptor agonist approved by the FDA in 2005 for people with type 2 diabetes. Unlike many diabetes medications before it, exenatide not only helped lower blood sugar, but also caused many patients to lose weight. At the time, that was viewed as a useful side effect, but in hindsight, it was the first glimpse of a much larger phenomenon. This diabetes treatment would eventually evolve into the common GLP-1 drugs we know of today, such as Ozempic, Wegovy, and Zepbound, medications so effective at suppressing...
That's like, oh, everything happened. First, the government, them start use the technology, and then when them done use the technology for whatever them want, them commercialize it. Where am I going at this point? I don't know.
Appetite that they would ignite a global obsession with injectable peptides, transform the weight loss
industry. That kind of crazy still. Although people are take drugs since the dawn of time, but you can just buy some peptides. Well, I don't know if it's legal or illegal, but either way you can get them and just inject them in like it. Well, I guess people are smoke heroin and crack and all sort of something, and I inject. People will find a way.
Millions of otherwise healthy people that the future of self-improvement might come in the form of a weekly shot. Enter the peptide gold rush. For most of modern history, injectable drugs were associated with serious medical conditions. Diabetics injected insulin, and patients with hormone deficiencies injected hormone replacements. The average healthy person wasn't browsing online forums for compounds to inject into their stomach, unless you were a bodybuilder on bodybuilding.com forums. But that began to change as millions of people watched celebrities, influencers, and even some of their close friends rapidly lose weight using GLP-1 injections. As public trust in peptide drugs increased,
now when I see a skinny person nowadays, I think, oh, it's either them have a wicked illness or then they're not skinny person like. If I did fat like last year, I'm see you this year, and you're super skinny. Like me know this woman last year. I see her, she did fat, and then I see her today, and the woman skinny. And what go through mine is either she dip on one of the GLP-1 them, she dip on Ozempic or something, or she there, or she have some very terminal illness where I suck out all her life, and now she look 3/4 dead. Anyways, though, it's either them two there or them actually, do the work, exercise, this and that. But I feel like if you exercise and diet and everything there, the look where you go get, it not gonna be as, it not gonna look so ghostly, if you get what I say. So I feel like the drug and the sickness make it look like you're dead most of the time. But them celebrity ever wear makeup and everything there, so you could even tell. well, you still can't tell either. Is it under the makeup or dog?
Curious users began scouring the internet for other similar injectable remedies that could improve other areas of their lives, such as their recovery, muscle growth, tanning, aging, or focus. Thus, a parallel peptide economy was about to emerge, one with many less guarantees and potentially many more side effects.
Is that
Things like
so?
GP157 definitely do accelerate the healing of
Dog,
an
like
injury.
GP157. Well, me not put nothing on body just like that. Like what the layman name? When you give me a layman name, GP157. I mean, if you just buy that somewhere and just inject it in my no. Man, I tell you.
And there's no question about that.
And I had a tendonitis in my elbow that I just could not fix.
Yeah.
I started using BPC 157. It was gone in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's a clip from the Joe Rogan podcast where he's interviewing famous neuroscientist Andrew Huberman, who swears by the recovery benefits of one of the most famous unregulated peptides, BPC 157. The initials stand for body
I
protection.
wonder why it's unregulated though. You think it's unregulated for a reason? Yes, me know the government and people don't like we. But if them are unregulated drug, them, anything says something might be up. I my neuroscientist and them think that whatever do so. What do I know? Wait, where the button there? Oh.
Compound. Researchers derived it from a protein naturally found in human gastric juice and began studying its effects on wound healing and tissue repair in animal models. And now, with the endorsement of health influencers, or just influencers with no sort of credentials whatsoever, online communities are treating it as a near mythical recovery drug capable of healing everything.
You see, doctors and science, you have to be a certain type of person to be a certain type of doctor, or just a doctor overall. No, a certain type of doctor. A certain type of doctor and a certain type of scientist. And don't get me now bash them people, because if them people never exist, then we not get them GLP and them something there who can help people who have diabetes and all of them things. But you have to be a certain type of person if you want to play around in a human gastric juices. Like what? Yeah, you are a certain type of person for real.
From tendon injuries to gut problems. Looking on a YouTube video analyzing the Rogan podcast, we can see tons of positive anecdotes in the comments. BPC 157 literally saved me from an 8-year journey looking for ways to heal my stomach issues. These issues cause depression, constant pain, etc. BPC healed it completely after a month or so. I got 1 bottle of BPC 157, and in 2 weeks, I feel about 90 to 95% better. BPC 157 sorted my tendonitis in my forearm in about 5 days. Then came TB 500.
So what when you stop taking it? That's the thing with drugs, What when you stop taking it? You just get back your tendonitis? Or you have to rely upon this for the rest of your life now? How that work? You have to go take peptides every day now? If it was like a one-time cure, I guess them could sell it.
Synthetic fragment of thymosin beta 4, a naturally occurring protein involved in cell migration and tissue repair.
Probably not on a one-time cure, cause that's one-time cure.
This stuff is just labeled with really complicated verbiage. That's just what scientists do. Combining this with BPC 157 creates what some users refer to as the ultimate recovery stack. Growth hormone-related peptides soon followed. CJC 1295 was developed to stimulate the release of growth hormone by mimicking growth hormone-releasing hormone. No, that isn't a typo or a miswrite. Ipamorelin worked through a different pathway, mimicking ghrelin and triggering additional growth hormone release.
All these
Together, CJC and ipamorelin became staples of anti-aging clinics and bodybuilding circles, marketed as a safer alternative to direct growth hormone injections. And now there's more peptides that target entirely different bodily desires but have managed to become just about as popular. Melanotan 2, for example, originated from research into a hormone and was designed to increase skin pigmentation. Users quickly discovered that it could produce a deep tan without extensive sun exposure, turning it into an underground cosmetic phenomenon. And the last of these really popular ones that I could find is something called GHK-Cu. This is a copper-binding peptide first isolated from human plasma in the 1970s. Researchers
the thing them sound like them supposed to dep on a periodic table. Like, give thing them some name, man. Give think like, I don't know, but give them some name or pronounceable. When a computer, you know, if you put with no code and just are probably the short name them up because all of them sound like gibberish. But give thing them some name. Only power though them, man.
investigated its potential role in collagen production and tissue regeneration, leading many enthusiasts to view it as this miracle anti-aging breakthrough. This growing peptide trend has even reached the early adopter capital of the world, Silicon Valley, where
Is that
peptides have become the
oral?
latest biohacking obsession among tech workers, chasing everything from better cognition and injury recovery to longer lifespans. Now, it would be one thing if people were sticking a needle in their butt with a bunch of regulated drugs, an already questionable decision unless your life depends on it or you have a prescription. But
Exactly.
the real reason why these peptides are potentially really dangerous
Them
is where
unregulated.
they come from, how people get their hands on them, and the lack of adequate research. It is here where we must talk about the often
You see
long
the trick of them do is, me see this now video. The trick of them do is them can't really sell it online and tell people say, yo, we go push the needle in your hand and use this. So when them a sell it online, them tell people them say, have to research. Oh, me must get that finger up me one day. I swear me must get it one day. Then tell people them say, yo, our research purposes only. So but you know when people buy it, they just like go buy one syringe and just get to work. Them things not supposed to be like easy if you get to either. You can't just, you're not you shouldn't suppose you can just go on Amazon and buy one syringe and like I think that's supposed to be so easily accessible.
and expensive process of FDA approval. Before a drug reaches your medicine cabinet, it typically spends years moving through a gauntlet of trials. Researchers first investigate whether the compound appears safe in cells and animals. If
When
those
you rat
results look
them
promising, the drug enters phase 1 trials, where small groups of human volunteers are monitored for side effects and safety concerns. If it survives that stage, it advances to phase 2 and phase 3 trials, where hundreds or even thousands of participants are studied to determine whether the drug actually works and whether its benefits outweigh its risks. The process is notoriously expensive. Estimates vary, but getting a new drug approved can cost hundreds of millions of dollars and, in some cases, well over $1 billion. As a result, many of these compounds fail along the way. Some of them just straight up don't work, others produce side
and
effects
people
that
still
only
use them.
appear after a long amount of time and after being tested on enough people. But that's precisely the point. They need to do that much research to see not just if the drug produces the desired effect,
Oh,
but also
long
discover
work over
everything
time.
else it does. And this is where the peptide gold rush becomes much more concerning. Many of the internet's favorite peptides never made it through this process. Some never entered large-scale human trials at all. Others showed promising results in rodents or small pilot studies, but lacked the evidence necessary for regulatory approval. But somewhere along the line, a growing amount of people started treating promising and proven as if they were
Him
the
do
same
it, him
thing.
do the
If you
thing.
spend enough time in online fitness circles, you've probably seen this logic before. A study finds that a compound accelerated healing or recovery in rats. Then a podcast host mentions it, or their guest does. Then a YouTube creator makes a video about it, and a few users in the comments report incredible results. Before long, thousands of people are
Hey
injecting it
dog,
into their bodies
is a
under the
psyop.
assumption that somebody else has already done the hard work of proving it's safe, even though they haven't. As I was doing research for this video, I found one of the most dystopian influencers promoting these peptide products. Her name is Sarah.pepkit on TikTok. She has almost 3,000 followers, and she
Them
talks
a
about her
PR.
peptide
She's
usage
paid.
and things you should know while plugging a link for a peptide tracking
Peptides
app
and
in her bio.
Pilates.
Sarah does not exist. Sarah is AI. I know it goes without saying for most of you, but
What? Okay. Then them catch me until him show the video. I mean I said something look off. Whoa. Okay. Okay.
Please do not download or buy anything
Oh
being promoted by an
God.
AI influencer. I mean, shit is just getting crazy out here. Is there anything more
Shit.
creepy or uncanny or dystopian about an AI influencer
Ooh.
posting about unregulated peptides and trying
Drugs.
to get people to take them
The
or
AI
download
sell
this app that is
drugs
in
to
her
people.
bio? I mean, it's just crazy
Her
out here.
bio.
But if they're totally unregulated, how are these products being sold in the first place? The answer is one of the most bizarre legal gray areas on the internet.
You gonna talk about
Visit
it?
enough peptide vendors and you'll eventually
Yeah.
encounter the same disclaimer repeated
See them
over
that
and
tell
over
about.
again, for research purposes only. The implication is that these products are
They might use
supposedly
style
intended
dog.
for scientific
And oh, the law would be so loose to make something like that slip through. And then it
research rather than personal use. But many of the same websites simultaneously advertise all those benefits we talked about, like recovery, anti-aging, muscle growth, fat loss, or skin health.
yeah, like
And that's where things
yeah, man,
become
guys. So here. This first. So this is them. Disclaimer, guys. Research purposes only. You know, research purposes only. We would want to use it for the nothing else. But make it heal quick. This and that. But research purposes only. Remember. Yeah.
especially risky. When you receive an FDA-approved medication, there are strict manufacturing requirements. The company creating the medication must govern the purity, make sure to test for contamination, and keep adequate storage conditions, dosage consistency, and quality control. But with many
Yeah,
gray market
important
peptide
things.
products, consumers are often forced to trust the claims of companies operating outside of that system. In fact, most of these companies get their unregulated peptides from random Chinese factories. Because of this, the
China.
concentration listed on the label as opposed to what's actually in the vial can
Ah, this
sometimes
someone
vary
that-
wildly.
I sent in a bottle of Retatrutide to get tested that claimed it had 60 milligrams. Turned out it had 108 milligrams.
Or a bunch of other shit can go wrong regarding contamination and storage, only further proving that this peptide trend has gone much too far. As I finished research for this video, I couldn't
they're
help
not
but
about
keep
get
coming
with
back
up on
to
the
the
label,
what
like,
and
what?
how of all of this. Like, what type of person do you need to be to even get to a point where you feel like you need to take a bunch of unregulated drugs just to improve yourself? And I think the answer reveals itself when we
Gym
return to
bros.
Ryan. Ryan was someone who felt disrespected by those around him for his appearance, a pretty natural thing for a young teenage guy to go through before you've had the opportunity to mature and find firm footing in this world.
This
Oh,
would have been
you
like
don't need to lead to that.
17 years old. I was an easy person to disrespect because I wouldn't stand up for myself physically or mentally, right? And I get a lot of young men come to me that are like, I want to feel respected by the people around me, so I want to get bigger and I want to look better, you know. But also,
Well, he must say
change
big.
what I
Right
see.
now, to be honest, him kind of look fat. Yeah, him have muscle, but yeah, him could have lose some of the fat. And then the peptide to do that, make you lose fat. You take all these peptides and him still not look as lean as me know him would have want to be.
in
But just
myself.
judge them on them own standards still.
So if you change what you see in yourself, you won't allow people to treat you that way.
By
But
them own
without proper
standards.
guidance, Ryan felt like he couldn't get to the point where his kindness or his positive actions were ever enough to get people to respect and like him. So instead of focusing on the internal root causes, he focused on the external. He got jacked, he started an online fitness business, and the numbers and validation poured in, giving
And all of
him
them have
more
the same tattoo in
validation to
the dog,
continue
the
on
one
this
tattoo, the
trajectory.
enemy is
And I can
going
only
down.
imagine that addictive feeling of finally being respected led him to pursue an even higher state of validative ecstasy. If you're constantly getting feedback from your external environment that bigger muscles or a better tan is what gets you attention and respect, and you haven't taken the time to resolve those deeper insecurities, more muscle or money will never feel like it is enough, and you will resort to the most extreme measures, such as taking unregulated peptides. That's
all
the
the
type of people
peptides,
these
man,
drugs
word.
attract. Those whose upbringing never taught them to reach a state of self-acceptance that repels the idea of abusing your body with needles full of a bunch of different things. And the theme of building an identity full of self-confidence that comes from within is one of the central ideas of my debut novel, Echoes Across Infinity. Echoes Across Infinity is a story about a 21-year-old
Bro.
named Elliot who lives in the modern world, our post-pandemic world, who loses his mother in an unexplainable accident.
Oh, shit.
Through the trauma he endures, he begins to have uncontrollable visions, which he soon discovers are glimpses into a parallel reality he can learn to access. And a good portion of this book is Elliot coming to terms with his insecurities and learning to accept and overcome them. It's a blend of sci-fi, psychology, and philosophy, and the first person who ever reviewed the book on Amazon said they almost finished it in a single sitting, so shout out to that guy. If the themes of grief, loneliness, and self-improvement resonate with you, you can pick up my debut novel by going to the first link in the description
That's
or scanning the
interesting.
QR code that you see on screen right now.
That's
Now let's go back to Ryan.
Okay,
I want to
I'ma
make it
finish the
clear
video. Things
that
ain't
this
be
is
done.
not a diss at Ryan. Honestly,
man,
I
advertising
watched that
book.
Guardian video, and my first thought was, well, Ryan actually seems like a genuinely cool dude. He has great energy, and it's clear that he just wants to help guys feel respected and
I'm
feel
just
better about
misguided.
themselves. And I love
I'ma go
people
about it
who
the wrong way.
uplift other people. I just don't agree with the methods he promotes to get there. If you know anyone who is taking these peptides or considering taking these peptides, I encourage
Nope.
you to show them this video and highlight the consequences. While we might eventually find out that some of these peptides do end up providing significant benefits with little downsides, it's important to wait until proper testing and regulation has been put in place, even if RFK Jr. is trying to ease limits on them because he's, quote, used them himself and with really good effect on a couple of injuries. Taking care of yourself, eating well, and moving your body is absolutely essential to feeling your best, and therefore respecting yourself and having others respect you. But there's a limit you need to put on your incessant desire to self-improve before it starts to do the opposite.
Dog, hear me thing, dog. You see the niggle and them left them thing that we dog. When you start I don't know, dog, sell off something. When you start use needle at home and yeah, buy medicine in a glass bottle and yeah, play doctor, you're gone too far. You're gone too far. You do too much. At that time, people, I'm sure before them start inject, before the drug. Oh shit. Like, you just left that to the doctors, please and thanks. But
Let
yeah,
me know your
make him
thoughts, as
finish.
always, in the comments, and if you
Oh,
enjoyed
he
it,
is finished. So that was the video. Remember, only think Gen Z Peptide Epidemic by, I'm telling him name again, Cole Hastings. Good video, great video.